Okay, welcome back. We are in the middle of chapter 40. We just talked about some different body systems we have in our body. So, our digestive system, our reproductive system, our nervous system, our skeletal system. So, you can describe those different organ systems we have. These organs are based on tissues. Tissues are a group of cells that work together to perform a common function, and all of your body systems are composed of these same four types of animal tissues. We have epithelial, connective, muscle, and nervous. Epithelial cells are cells that are found covering the outside and inside surfaces of your body. So, covering your skin outside, also lining the organs and the cavities within your body. So, lining things like your digestive tract, lining your blood vessels. Epithelial tissue is really good at forming a barrier, and that barrier helps protect against injury. It helps protect against pathogens. These would be things that cause disease, and it helps protect against fluid loss. These also form glands on the body. Usually, epithelial tissue is going to be in sheets of cells. If you look at these different pictures, different kinds of epithelial cells, they're forming generally sheets of cells. And underneath them is this blue layer called a basal lamina. And the basal lamina connects the epithelial cells to connective tissue underneath. We can classify our epithelial tissues by whether it has one layer or more than one layer. If it is one layer of cells, it's simple. So here, this is one layer of cells. That's a simple. Stratified means there's more than two or more layers of cells. So here, this would be a stratified layer. This is a pseudostratified because it's almost forming layers, but not quite. And then you can also classify different types of epithelial tissue by what shape the cells are. So squamous means they're kind of flattened, look like a fried egg. So these are kind of that fried egg look. Cuboidal means they're as tall as they are wide, so they're more of a boxy. And columnar means they form tall columns. They're taller than they are wide. So these would be columnar. These would be cuboidal. They're square-ish. They're boxy. So our first kind of epithelial tissue is our simple squamous cells. These are going to be found lining the blood vessels and exchange surfaces of the lungs. These are going to allow diffusion of materials easily across the membrane. So that simple tells you it's just one cell thick. So it allows things to flow. Oxygen and other small materials can flow through that cell layer. Next is simple cuboidal. Simple cuboidal would be things like in kidneys and glands, and they're really good at secreting. Then we have our simple columnar. This would be what we find in our digestive tract, and these are good at protecting and absorbing nutrients, especially on their face here where they would be exposed to the digestive tract. They're good at pulling nutrients out of your food as it passes through your digestive tract. Next would be stratified squamous. This would be found in your skin. That includes the lining of your mouth, your anus, and your vagina. And they're good at protection. You can see there's a lot of layers to them. So if damage happens to the outer layer, the inner layers are still there to protect your body. They're also constantly growing and producing new cells. And then our pseudostratified columnar epithelium. This would be found in your airway, so your nasal cavity and your windpipe, and these are good at protecting your body. So what kind of epithelial cell is this? One cell thick, kind of has that fried egg look to it. Where would you find this kind of cell? Like what is the purpose of this kind of tissue? Okay, what about this kind of epithelial tissue? What kind of epithelial tissue is this? Okay, and what about this one? These epithelial tissues. These are found in, now we've got lots of layers piling on top of each other. What type of epithelial tissue is this? What would its function be? Okay, next we're going to talk about our connective tissues. Connective tissues are important for connecting, so they are binding other tissues and supporting other tissues. A defining feature of these is that their cells are scattered in an extracellular matrix, and then they're usually going to be seen as fibers within either a liquid or a gel or even a solid ground substance. So you have a lot of matrix with the cells in between it. The matrix can consist of different types of cells. So you could have fibroblasts that are making fibers. You You can have macrophages that are engulfing foreign materials by phagocytosis. That's a word that I hope you remember from 1110, phagocytosis. If not, pause and look that up. Different types of fibers we have in connective tissue. We have collagen fibers. So collagen fibers are going to provide strength and flexibility. Reticular fibers are going to help join connective tissues to other tissues. So they help provide a framework. Elastic fibers make tissues more elastic. That allows for recoil and expansion as your body moves. And different fibers and different ground substances are going to combine. If you remember here, we talked about different types of ground substances here. Different fibers and different ground substances combine to make different unique connective tissues. We can have loose connective tissue, fibrous connective tissue, bone. Did you know that's a connective tissue? Adipose tissue, cartilage, and blood. Did you know blood is considered a connective tissue? Loose connective tissues are the most widespread. These have rope-like collagen and elastic fibers. So that means they're going to be strong and resilient. That elastic presence is going to allow them to spring back into shape. They help join skin to underlying tissues. Then our fibrous connective tissues. These are going to be found in tendons that connect muscle to the bones. They're going to be found in ligaments that connect bone to bones. And these are going to have densely packed collagen fibers. Adipose tissues. Adipose is another word for fat. So this is what is storing fat underneath our skin. It stores that fat in these large, closely packed cells that are held in a matrix of fibers. Cartilage is going to be found in joints and some parts of your skeleton. It is strong and it is flexible, so it's really good at being skeletal material. And it commonly is going to be found surrounding the ends of bones. Bone tissue is found in the bones of the body. It always kind of looks like a cross-section of like a slice of wood to me when I look at bone tissues. It has a matrix of collagen fibers, and these are going to be embedded in a hard substance. That hard substance usually contains minerals like calcium, magnesium, and phosphate. And then our fluid tissues, which would be blood and lymph, these are going to be found in the circulatory system where you find blood, or in the lymphatic system where we find lymph. So these are flowing through the body. So these are transporting substances through the body. They can carry nutrients. They can carry oxygen in the red blood cells. They can carry white blood cells that have the ability to fight infection. They're transporting things through your body. Okay, the body tissue that consists largely of material located outside of cells is this epithelial, connective, skeletal, smooth, or nervous. What kind of tissue would you find that is made largely of material outside of the cells? Next, we have muscle tissue. Muscle tissue makes our bodies move. This is a type of tissue that is unique to animals with our need to be able to move. And there's 3 types of muscle tissue: skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and smooth muscle. Skeletal muscle is responsible for voluntary movements. So when you want to walk or run, when you want to move your hands, when you want to move your neck, things that you are thinking about moving, this is how your body moves. And you can see we have these striations in them. This is a feature of our skeletal muscle. Then cardiac muscle. That word cardiac means heart. So this is a muscle that is found in the heart. And it does have striations still, and it also has these intercalated discs. I don't think these pictures are very good, but we'll look at some more tissues and pictures in lab to help you be able to visualize what these different kinds of tissues look like. Cardiac muscle is responsible for pumping your blood. Then smooth muscle. These are going to be involuntary movements that helps move the wall of your internal organs. So your digestive system, your urinary system, your reproductive system, and your blood vessels. You aren't consciously having to think about moving these muscles. So that is where you're going to find your smooth muscle. Let's look at this cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle. Where would you find this kind of muscle? We're going to look at it contracting. Then nervous tissue. Nervous tissue is also a kind of tissue unique to animals. Nervous tissue is found in our nervous system, which means your brain, your spine, and your nerve cords, your neurons. And these are responsible for communicating with, for your body to communicate with itself. It will sense stimuli, so I can see, I can hear, I can feel the temperature, I can taste and smell. So we're sensing stimuli and then transmitting that information. The information goes then to our brain so we can make sense of what it is, and then it carries signals back to our body to tell us how to respond to that. There's two types of nervous tissue. One is neurons. Neurons carry signals, and they do that by conducting electrical impulses. So this will conduct an impulse down to the next cell, which carries an impulse to the next cell. And there are also neuroglia. Neuroglia are small cells that support the neurons. Okay, I am going to pick up at this slide in our next video. So we're going to spend the rest of chapter 40 talking about how we are able to control our body. All right, see you soon.